Thomas here with Much Profs, going to give you another how-to video. Today I am trying a new material. So I am a teacher by day, and a few months ago I had the opportunity to go to a workshop for art where I learned a bunch of different lesson plans that other teachers in my region have been using with their classes. One of those classes that was presented was somebody who was doing needle felting, which I'd heard of before, but I've never really tried it myself. And after I got to get a hold of some materials, I gave it a little go while I was at that workshop, and I kind of liked it. It was something that was relatively easy in terms of execution, and with a little bit of mixing of different color felts, you can easily make something pretty awesome. So my plan today is to use a gift that my wife gave me for Christmas. No, it is not a 1980s lawn furniture set. It's kind of what that pattern reminds me of. It is a felting kit. So I am going to open this up, play around with some of the materials again to get myself familiar, and maybe make a couple of monsters out of this and an old pillow. At least that's the game plan. Let's get to building. Full disclosure, I'm not familiar with needle felting at all, other than a 30-minute workshop I went to 3 months ago. This is me dipping my toe into a new form of art for me, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Guy who bumbles around trying to figure out how to do needle felting doesn't have quite the ring for the title of this video, so I went with how to do needle felting. My wife got me this kit off of Amazon for Christmas. I will try and find a link to it and share it with you if you're interested. It'll be in the description below the video. It has a case full of small tufts of wool with different size needles and a case of various tools that I'm assuming that I'll need. There are also little bells and other random doodads in there, like doll eyes and noses that I think are for decorating. The gray felting pad is used to do your work on top of and protect the needles so that they don't break. If you have never felted before, you may not exactly understand how shoving a needle into wool and other materials will do anything. The needles have little barbs on them that grab the fibers as they push through the material. When you push in and out, these barbs tangle and interlock the wool fibers together, causing them to become entangled. The more you jab the needle, the tighter the material gets, which is why there is one little jabber that has multiple needles. I will figure out eventually that the single barb is for fine detail and precision work, whereas the multi-needle is for bulk work and packing large areas down. I'm using some polyfill from an old pillow to bulk out the monster's insides with, then putting the wool over the top of to cover the surface area. I get it to its basic shape and jab the mess out of it until it starts maintaining the form I want. Due to the limited amount of wool I get in the kit for each color, I decided that I would blend 2 or 3 colors together into a loose mix by hand. You can use a hand or drum carder tool if you would like to mix it a little more thorough. These look like torture brushes, large wooden paddles with a bunch of metal needles to grab the wool as you comb it through against another paddle. I mix mine by hand pulling fibers apart, then stacking them on top of each other and repeating over and over. Then it's just a matter of spreading the wool over the polyfill base and stabbing it over and over and over again until the felt sticks in the areas you want. I'm just going to show me making one monster, and if I'm trying another technique or something else, I'll try and hit the record button for it. Altogether, I think each monster that I made took about an hour or so to piece together. I bought an absurd amount of these eyes in all different sizes, and I'm going to use some of them for my monsters. I just hot glue it onto the wool and then make eyelids to cover the top and the bottom. I thought maybe a bead of hot glue inside of the wool would help stiffen up the eyelid, but as I poked needles through, it just started pulling that glue out even after it was cooled off fully and made a mess and had to scrape the needles off. I wouldn't recommend doing that, or maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I don't really have a design in mind, just making it up as I go and picking colors that I hope will work well with each other. The green monster is actually my favorite of the 5, and it just so happens to have been the first one that I made. I think this year is going to be a year of me trying new materials and methods. I really want to branch out and increase my skills in other mediums. The kit did come with some finger covers that are supposed to protect your fingers from being jabbed by needles, but my hands are ginormous, so I just tried to be mindful of where my fingers were in relationship to the needle. I could do bulk work with the multi-needle on the pad and then do more precision work in my hands up close, just being careful. It definitely can pierce the skin, and it does make owies. I'm making the feet of my monster right now, and I thought it would be cool to add foot pads and little toe beans like cats. The kit does come with these little stencils that you can push material into a general shape, then refine it a little bit more without that stencil on. I ended up gluing the feet on the bottom with hot glue and then tapping in some in that little gap to kind of bridge it and blend the two parts. Once again, I want to reiterate, I am making this up as I go. I did not watch a single video, I just started stabbing stuff onto stuff. So for the hair, it made sense to me to jab the tuft in the middle to lock it into place, and then hit the perimeter to tighten up the edge up. I was not intending to give this little critter troll hair, but after I put it on there, I was like, forget this, I'm not styling, I like it. I can definitely see myself pushing this a bit further and trying it out for other applications. If you're enjoying this mess around and would like to see me go bigger and bolder, let me know in the comments below. I'm already thinking of some ideas for potential builds that this could be used on. After I made one, I instantly had to make him a buddy, so this little green cutie wasn't alone. This quickly snowballed, and by the time I realized it, I had made 5 of them and needed to edit this video. This really was a bunch of fun and a quick way to make some little custom plush toys. I don't know how well they will hold up to a kid playing with them, probably only a few seconds if a dog puts his mouth on it. Maybe they are only for display. I decided to try and give one a mouth, so I pulled out these resin teeth that I bought a while back for some reason. I lay down a black bead of hot glue for its gums and plop in random assorted teeth all the way down it. To speed up the cool time on the hot glue, I just put a piece of ice down, and then I can pull the whole assembly up and glue directly to the wool. Just like the eyes, I make lips to cover over the top and the bottom to help blend in the part a little bit more. And we are finished. Here is the end result. Overall, I think they turned out pretty adorable, even though they are supposed to be monsters. It was super fun just kind of messing around with the material, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And I really enjoyed the accessorizing of the creatures, like the toe beans on this one and the little heart-shaped pads on this one, and putting a little binky on my baby one along with some teeth on this derpy one, just using some hot glue and some sets of teeth that I had for some reason. But yeah, maybe you will try and make something like this and impress your friends with your ability to try something new and just send it. Yeah, maybe you'll get some.
Yay!
And inevitably, they're gonna ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these, tell them, much props. Maybe scatter them around the house for some surprises. I don't know, that may get into mischief. Peace out. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and you want to see more builds like this one, please consider joining these awesome people listed here with me over on my Patreon to build a bigger, better, more creative community together.